Okay, first of all, I want to cover, well, where'd it go? There we go. That. Some of y'all, and I'm going over this with all my classes, so don't take it personal when I say y'all. Some of y'all are having problems with, I did this for a student last night at home, and I just took a snapshot with the Word document, or document cam. If you're having problems with your password, I always tell students first, try your T number for your password, and then go through forgot your password. And if your password doesn't work, I've heard a lot of people are resetting their passwords using forgot password. Again, most of y'all are on and everything's okay, but there's several things I want to talk about today. If you do not get a forgot your password email within a reasonable amount of time, within an hour, then you need to email those two people, Dr. Anzer at manzer1@tctc.edu and Ms. Ward at award6@tctc.edu. Make sure you include your full name, your T number. This course is called Math 120-24, and the problem, and tell them I've sent in, forgot your password, and I never did get an email back, blah, 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 blah. But I will tell you this, if you're having a problem with your password, then those first two things, using your T number and changing your password through forgot password, those usually work. But as a third, resort, use the email to Dr. Anzer and Ms. Ward. The second thing I want to show you is, let me get rid of that one. Okay, I don't know how to get rid of it. Oh, there it is down here. The second thing I want to show you is this one. Sometimes when you log in to MyLabs Plus, you might have problems. Okay, what kind of problems? Well, you won't be able to see something, or you won't be able, or the screen is white, or, well, that could be a Blackboard problem, because most of our problems are coming from Blackboard. That's why I gave y'all the website to go to. I also have put it in Teams, where the files are up to the right. It says one other. That's MyLabs Plus. You can go through Teams and you can go. But one of the things I tell students is make sure you're using Google Chrome or Firefox. Okay. The second thing is, and I want to show you right here, if I can get rid of this, I'll have to bring it back up, I guess. Can I get rid of it there? Nope. Nope. How do I get rid of it? Is there a close up there? Exit. Okay. I want to show you what comes up sometimes. Does it with me. Y'all see this little red box right here? Sometimes if you go into MyLabs Plus, especially if you go through Blackboard or Tri-County Tech, you might get a red box or a red X right there. And when you get that, right click on it and just allow whatever. Unsafe scripts, allow pop-ups, whatever. I have been working with MyLabs Plus for over 19 years. I've never had a problem with a pop-up come up on MyLabs Plus. I've never had that, so you can, when you pull up the, okay, somebody, I'm gonna mute everybody. Whenever you hit the internal things, like when you hit e-text, e-text is technically a pop-up. It comes up inside of Pearson. That's why you have to do that. So right-click on it and always allow pop-ups and done. If it still shows up, well, I don't know why it's still showing up, but anyway, it's not supposed to show anyway. It's not supposed to show up after you do that, but who knows? But that's another thing that you can do to help out with the problems that you're having. Let me go ahead and pull up the rest of that. Well, now I can't pull up my picture. Okay, well, I don't know why. I'm not going to worry about it. That's just some problems that I've seen students. Of course, these problems should have been addressed when? First week of class, okay? I shouldn't be addressing these problems the second week of class. But some people had some extenuating circumstances and wasn't able to log on until Monday or whatever, and that's why we're talking about this. So with that being said, I just wanted to show you, that I had one person call me and say, when I get there, I see My Labs Plus and there's nothing there. Well, they're having problems with the pop-ups, or they're using the wrong, and they were using Microsoft Edge. So and they used Firefox or whatever, Chrome, and everything showed up fine. Has anybody got any input on this as far as, let's see, anybody got any input on anything that happened to you that, anybody? No problems? Everybody just, okay, nobody had any problems, okay. Thanks for the input. E-text. Now, I'm going to talk about something else now, and I want you to write this down. After September 8th, okay, September 8th and on, we will probably be having class via internet, okay? So that means y'all 4 or 5, y'all in here, if that's okay with y'all, because I've got to be at home with my son because his e-learning starts, okay? So we'll be having class, and that means y'all won't have to come up here, Now, if you want to, if you want to team from here, that's up to you. You can, use your laptop and team from downstairs, or you can use, I don't know if you can, I asked the IT person if Teams was on the computers downstairs. She said no. I thought she would be like, we ought to put them on there, but she never did say anything, so I didn't say anything. Anyway, so you might want to think about that after the 8th. And, if you want to try it next Friday, what's next Friday? What's this Friday coming up? What? Yeah, next Friday. If you want to, and that'll keep y'all from having to come Friday, we'll try it next Friday. That's okay. Just make sure you have Teams. And I've told you how to get Teams. Have y'all already got Teams on your computers? Good. Because that was our backup plan if something was to have happened. Okay, like, they shut down school again. And there's no way I can get out of it. And I already told my department head, and she said, that's fine, as long as you meet with your students. That's all that matters, because right now, there is nothing set in stone because of what's going on. All right, so with that being said, so this Friday coming up, not today, but next Friday, we're going to meet, and I'm going to announce this every day, because there's going to be that one person that's going to come up here and sit in this classroom for 20 minutes and go downstairs and tell the secretary that nobody's there, and then all hell's going to break loose, okay? And then I'm going to get 15 phone calls, all because one person didn't show up and follow directions. So I'm going to announce this Monday and Wednesday also. Please remind me to. Okay, so make sure you have teams, and I'll make the call at 8 o'clock in the morning, just like I, do these people. And they've been coming on every morning, so there isn't a problem. So there shouldn't be a problem after that. All right, any questions? Yes.
Are we coming to you on the 7th?
No, after that Friday, after this Friday, we're just going to do it. After next Friday, we're just going to start teaming.
To the 4th of our last time too?
Yes, pretty much. Which is Wednesday, right?
The 4th?
Yeah.
That's Friday.
Friday, you will team in.
So the last time we did is 2nd?
Yes.
Okay.
So Friday, you will team in. That'll give y'all a Friday to get ready for the next Monday. Okay? So just make sure, all you got to do is make sure you have teams, because I've already got you in the teams folder. So it's not like you're already in there. All I got to do is just send a call and y'all will get the call. Okay? If you don't, let me know, but it should be all right. I've already got you in there. Okay. So here we go. Question? Oh, you got a question?
Do we still like team in on?
No, Labor Day is, when it says college closed on academic calendar, no classes. Unless y'all want to volunteer to have class. Yeah, exactly. All right, yeah, Labor Day, college closed, that means y'all don't have to come to class. So that means y'all have the day off on that Monday, whenever that is. Is that the 7th or the 4th? What is that? What is that? The 7th? So the 7th, we don't have class. So that takes care of the Monday. Thanks for bringing that up, because I don't keep up with dates. All right, so we left off on what section? 2.1, right? 2.2 is what we're going over next, right? Okay, tell me where we left off. I'm sorry. Oh, 2.3. I was going into misrepresentation. All right, and I might have told y'all to read a little bit. The good thing about 2.3, and I am recording, right? Yeah. The good thing about 2.3 is that there's really no math involved. You just have to look at pictures. And you have to have a little bit of, critical thinking and common sense to tell whether the picture or the graphic or the graph or whatever is misrepresented. You know what I mean. Misrepresented. How about that? Okay? Or misleading. That's a good word. We'll use that. So here we go, and you're not going to see anything. The first picture I really care about is the soccer balls. So let's get to the soccer ball. And you can read over those, but I'm not going to. Okay, are we ever going to get to the soccer balls? There's the soccer balls. Okay, now, I want you to put this in your notebooks or highlight it if you have your book with you, or a printout of your book. And I want you to highlight the numbers in the paragraph above the soccer balls. And it says, in 1991, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for our folks at home. And that's as big as I can make it, because for some reason it goes to the right and it'll be off the screen. It says, in 1991, there were approximately 10 million participants in soccer. By 2009, this number climbed to 14 million. So it grew 4 million. So let's do a quick calculation, and you don't have to do this, but I'm just showing you. Somebody take 14 minus 10 and divide by 14 for me. 14 minus 10, new minus old over old. I'm sorry, new minus old over old, right? So it's 14 minus 10 over 10. That's going to be 0.4. We've got a 40% increase. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? So shake your head if you understand. All right, a 40% increase. All right, somebody tell me if this graphic of the two soccer balls is misleading? Yes or no? You got a 50-50 shot, even if you're not cognitive or, non-sentient. Is it a misrepresentation? Okay, I'm getting some nods, yes. Somebody tell me why. Well, I'll help you out. You see that little soccer ball in 1991? You could just about fit that one in one of the white areas on the big soccer ball, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can also fit it inside that black one in the middle. That's 6. And then the 2 white ones on top, that's 7. Maybe the top black one, that's 8. The 2 black ones on the side, that makes 1, that's 9. And maybe the remaining whites on the bottoms and the blacks might make. That ball on the right is how many times bigger than the ball on the left? 9 to 10 times bigger. So the graphic is misleading to the data. Now, does this happen on purpose or does it happen by mistake? Sometimes it happens by mistake. The actuator, let's say that this is a newspaper article, okay, or a magazine article, and you've got a number cruncher at the magazine or the paper, whatever, and you got a person that does the math and sends it to the graphics department. Well, the graphics department, you don't have to have 15 math courses to have a graphics degree. So that person just looks at it and goes, what? Okay, well, 14 million is more than 10 million, so I'll just make a bigger soccer ball. So that's what happens when it's by mistake, okay? The person in graphics don't know, the mathematician or the actuator doesn't tell the person in graphics, so therefore there's a mistake. The other is because of bias, and the person that's doing the article wants to try to persuade people that there's 10 times more people playing soccer now than before. Okay, so that's the 2 instances of misrepresentation or misleading graphics. Okay, yes, no, maybe, hopefully you understand. So one thing that you'll be looking for in these problems, and these are test questions. This is a test question. If I could put those soccer balls on the test, I would. But the misrepresentative questions that I pick are ones that kind of stand out, and they're usually misrepresented because I pick them. Okay? So that's one test question you could have right there. Let's see, what else? What about the barrels of OIL? Okay, first of all, pie charts are the worst because y'all know that I put a bonus question on the test and it's 30, 30, 30, right? And people answer 30, 30, 30 instead of the other one. And I asked y'all, why is this wrong? And y'all said what? Because it doesn't equal what? If they miss that on a bonus question, how many people out there will read a pie chart and not notice that it equals 100? A lot. So pie charts are used a lot, but they're also can be misrepresented by the people that make them, okay? And you have to watch it because sometimes they don't equal 100. Somebody add those up for me because I don't know if they equal 100 or not. I didn't add them up. Somebody take your calculator right quick and add those up for me. Let's say 30 and 40, 60, 77, 99. I don't think it equals 100. I think it's more than 100. But somebody actually do it for me. I think it's like 119 or something, but somebody tell me what the actual total is. I left something on my drink this morning. It tastes yuck. I think I left the vodka out of it. Okay, I'm sorry, 101. Even though it's 1 off, you can't have that. So that if it is over 100 or not equal to 100, you could throw that pie chart to the side because it's misleading. That's a test question, having a pie chart that doesn't equal 100. Where's my barrels of OIL? There they are. All right, so here we go. Let's look at this one. This is a test question. Is this misleading? Your data is 691 million barrels of OIL, and then you have 7.5 million barrels of OIL. So let's do a quick calculation. New minus old over old times 100. So 691 minus 7.5 over 7.5. Somebody do that for me right quick. And multiply it by 100 so you can move the decimal 2 places to the right. What do you come up with? Just round it to the nearest whole number. Somebody? It doesn't take 15 minutes to do that calculation. 91, it's just 91%. 91% increase. Does everybody understand that? All right, let's look. Does that fit? I don't think so, because you can only fit like 6 of those barrels in that, or maybe 7 or 8. I don't know. I don't think it is a good representation. Okay. I think the 691 barrel needs to be a little bit bigger. Okay, so just use, and what you're using here is common sense. Now this is a test question right here. Okay, this is one that I would put on test. Why is this one a misrepresentation? There's 2 reasons. It don't add up to 100. Good. I'm sorry, what? Exactly. The orange boxes are not proportional. Is that what you were saying? They're not proportional. So you're looking at 2 things there. The Irish shirt. You know what happened to me yesterday talking about probability? I called AT&T. My internet at home is acting up, and it's not only acting up one way. In other words, if I download something, it's okay. If I upload something, it takes 2 days to do. Okay, so I called AT&T, and this is no joke. Okay, y'all ready for this? Out of all the people I could talk to at AT&T, I talked to a guy, and he said, "Could I have your name?" And I said, "My name is Hubert McClure." And he said, "Nice to meet you, Hubert McClure. My name is Joseph McClure." Okay, now some of you that don't have a name like Smith or Jones, okay, McClure is not a name like Smith or Jones. And that kind of struck me as odd. And he said, I said, "You're kidding, right?" He said, "No." I said, "How do you spell your last name?" And he said, "With 2 C's. And that's, again, unusual because some people spell McClure, they spell it with the L instead of the 2 C's. Okay, now this is probability. I'm just talking about probability. And the Irish shirt kind of, you know, my whole Alzheimer's, it kind of set it off. And I said, "Well, that's neat." And he said, "Yeah, it is." And then we started talking about, you know, And he said, "So what's your address?" And I said, 304 McClure Road. He said, "That's wild." I said, I asked him where he lived. He said, "Oklahoma." Okay, I said, "First of all, we don't have," he said, "No." He said, "When did your people come over?" And I said, "My people came over before the Revolutionary War." And he said, "Oh, well, my people come over in 1929. I said, "Well, I guess we're not kin except from the old country." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Where do you live?" And he said, "Oklahoma." I said, "Well, I live in South Carolina." And he said, "What's your address?" Because AT&T. And I said, 304 McClure Road. He said, "You're kidding me. You got a road named after you?" I said, "Yeah, long story." He said, "No, no, no." He said, "We got an elementary school named after us down here in Oklahoma, McClure Elementary School." And I was like, "This is wild." And it kept on going. And then he said, "Yeah, that's where my son and daughter went." I said, "How old is your son and daughter?" "My daughter is 22. My son is 13. I was like, "Oh my God. My son is 13 and my daughter is 22. And then he said, "Yeah, after I got out of the Marine Corps." He was in the Marine Corps and I was in the Marine Corps. Now, I don't know about y'all, but somebody tell me the probability of that happening. The probability of me speaking to somebody that has the same last name as me and all those commonalities, that's weird. Okay, I'll shut up. Anyway, misrepresentation. Tried to break up the monotony in class, but
That's a doppelganger.
yeah, exactly. Now, I don't know who his parents are because we added each other on Facebook. Because yeah, he couldn't tell me his Facebook. I said, "Are you on Facebook?" He said, "Yeah, but I can't tell you." I said, "Oh." He said, "Just my name is Joshua McClure and I live in Oklahoma." Oh, okay. So anyway, I added him on Facebook, and it was just really, but he's got some Italian in him somewhere, okay? Because he's got I don't know, the Roman nose with the Italian. He's got that Italian look. He's got an Italian mama somewhere. I don't know where it is, but a lot of people say that about me. But I got black Irish. That's fine. Mine's just Irish. So anyway, to make a long story short, talk about probability. That's like somebody, with a different last name meeting somebody in another state just by chance. That's really weird. Okay, I'll shut up. Y'all not gonna say anything, so. All right, so that was misrepresentative, misleading because the proportions are not right. Here's 33. What's half of 33? 15. So 15 should be right about there, and it's not. It's this way. So it's misleading. And that's what I want you to pick up. I want you to pick up if something just doesn't look right. So if I give you something on a test that's a graphic, chances are it's going to be misleading. You got to figure out why. And that's it. That's 2.3. So on a 20 question test, you're talking about 4 or 5 possible questions out of chapter 1 and 2. Okay. Some of the highlights. Chapter 1, quantitative, qualitative, discrete, continuous. What's the difference between a frequency distribution with categorical data, blondes, brunettes, and redheads, versus quantitative data, misleading stuff, a stem and leaf plot versus a dot plot. What's the difference? Well, one's got dots, one's got numbers. And the normal curve versus the skewed right, skewed left, and uniform. So those are some questions that I could just think of off the top of my head. So, you've got them written down in your notebook because I told you to highlight them. I told you, So chapters 1 and 2 should be pretty simple for you as far as test questions. All right, let's move on to chapter 3. Y'all settle down. All right, so chapter 3. Now that's interesting. It went back to the center. Wonder why it went back to the center, because I didn't change anything. All right, whatever. It's the Russians. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, in chapter 3, there's some things that you already know how to do. Every one of you know how to find the mean of something. Because you've been doing it since the what, 6th, 7th grade? When you've been doing it? At the end of the semester? When you're trying to figure out what?
Average.
Your average. Thank you for, I appreciate the, interaction. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Word.
Y'all suck. You need to be more interactive. No, it's too early. Okay, there's coffee and Mountain Dew. Those two things are for two reasons, or for one reason, to wake up in the morning. Why do you think I have this vodka and juice right here? Okay? All right. Median. What is the median? Well, what's the median of the road? Middle. It's calculated middle, and some of y'all know how to do that. Some of you may have forgotten. We'll go over it. Means for statistics are mode, M-O. What shows up the most? M-O. Most, mode. What shows up the most? Mathematically, the mode is worthless, but they want you to find it. Okay? So most of y'all know how to find these. The things that I'm going to harp on in chapter 3 are the mean, the standard deviation, or the variance and standard deviation, and the z-scores, and the box plot, and the 5-number summary. That's what I'm going to harp on. And I guarantee you that a couple of y'all probably don't know how to do a couple of those if you don't have a calculator. Okay? So I'm just going to be frank with you. When I do a problem in chapter 3 with mean, median, and mode, this is what I do. I do mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, variance, standard deviation, 5-number summary, and box plot. And I do that with every single problem. So by the time we finish chapter 3, how many problems do you have doing all of that? Probably 5 or 6. So everybody should know how to do that by my test. Unless you just block me out, and just don't listen. Okay? You work at the Smoking Pig?
I do.
Oh my gosh. I stay away from that place. I do. I have to. I have to. I mean, I really do, because that's probably the best barbecue place, and I'm not a barbecue person. That's probably the best barbecue place I've eaten at in my whole life. And I've eaten at many different, different ones. It's just, I have to. I'm glad I don't live in Sandy Springs and Pendleton. I'm glad, because I'd be there like McDonald's every day. I'd be like there every day. Huh? I know. I don't want to know where it is. Nope. Sorry. Anyway, no offense, but that's, where is it?
Do you know where the food line is on 81? So like.
Oh, yes, on 81. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's over on.
It's on the north side, of course, because we don't rate anything over here on the west side. I know where it is. It's on the hill right there. I know right beside, right beside Duckworth Fields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the water tank. Good gracious, I'm glad it's on the north side. All right, so anyway, if I asked you for the definition of the mean, most of you would say you add them up and divide by whatever. That's the mathematical mean. But what is the mean? And most of you will not be able to tell me. And I'm fixing to tell you what the definition of the mean is. The mean is the number that represents uniformity. And I guarantee you none of you knew that, because nobody teaches that. The mean is the number that represents uniformity. In other words, your grades look like this. Your grades look like that. You got a 78, you got a 72, you got an 81, you got an 82, you got a 97. If you take all those numbers, add them up, and divide by whatever, that's the mathematical definition, you will get a number. Let's say 75. That number, 75, represents the number of uniformity, which makes a straight line across. Okay? That's what the average is. Now, why is that important? Because the number that represents uniformity can be compared to the center. And what do they talk about up at the top of the page? Central what? Tendency. What is statistics? Basically, statistics is mathematics that compares everything to the what? To the center. You need to write that down if you don't know. Statistics compares everything to the center. That's what's called measures of central tendency. And the first step is finding the mean. Because the mean, if the mean and the median are close together, then you have a normal curve. So, what are the most important things in chapter 3? Well, the mean is number 1. Median is number 2. No, median's like number 3 and 4. Number 2 is standard deviation. First one is mean, second one is standard deviation. But we're not going to get to the standard deviation probably until Monday, okay? So, with that being said, let's move on. And I'm not going to go over any of this because, like I said, most of y'all know how to do this. And there is, you add up all your test grades and you divide by the number of test grades. Mu, that means population because that's a Greek letter. Mu is M-E-W, mu. And that funny looking M, that's the Greek letter mu. If I decided to do it by the population, it would be X bar. So X bar is the sample. I don't know what I just said, but it might have said the sample. And the mu is population. Is the formula the same? Yes. Okay. Here's an example, and I'm not going to ask you to do it because you know how to do this. You've been doing this since the 6th, 7th grade. You add up all the test scores and divide by 10. And that's what they're doing right here. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by asking you to do that because I think everybody knows how to do that. Move on. Huh? What? No, this right here. See those numbers?
Oh, I thought you were talking about that equation for a second.
No, that's just this. All this is adding them up and divide by the number. That's what that is right there.
Gotcha.
You just got to hold your pinky up when you write it. Next. I'm going to show you how to do this on the Excel spreadsheet as well as calculator, but I'm not doing it until we talk about standard deviation, and then that's when I will start doing everything on the spreadsheet. And the reason I use the spreadsheet is because everybody can see it on one page. If I try to write everything, I write all over the place, and I can't get it all on one page. So I use the Excel spreadsheet to put it on one page. I don't use the Excel spreadsheet because I'm bullying you to use the Excel spreadsheet, which one student put on an evaluation. He thinks everybody's supposed to use Excel. I tell everybody before I start using it, this is only for instruction. People just don't listen. And then it's my fault. And my department head fusses at me and I blame Russia. The median is the number that lies in the what? Middle. It lies in the middle based on the middle numbers, where the mid-range is based on the range. Okay, now we're going to get to mid-range eventually. But the median is based on the 2 or 3 numbers in the middle of your group. After you organize your data and put it in order, if you have an even amount, you take the average of the 2 middle numbers. If you have an odd amount, you just take that number in the middle. And that's what it says somewhere in here. Okay? I don't like the way they've got it written, so we're going to do it here in just a minute, because that's what, out of all the students that I see when we're doing this, they're a little bit rusty on the median because they can't remember which one to do. So that's why I'm gonna go over it. The math is third grade and below math. It's real easy. But I'm just gonna show you because you might forget. You might have forgotten. And some of y'all, some of y'all took Math 120 last semester in high school. And you probably don't forget, but some of you may haven't had Math 120 at all and may, just don't remember. All right, so here is an example. So here's an example of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is odd or even? It's odd, Hubert. Thank you, class. So you just pick the middle number. So if n is odd, you just pick the middle number. Does everybody understand? Okay. If n is even, then you take the average of the two middle numbers. So if you are somebody that's never seen statistics before, you might want to make a note on page 114 on how to find the median. If n is even, you average the two middle numbers. If n is odd, you just pick the middle number. Now, those of you that's had Math 120, you're going, oh yeah, I remember that. See, that's why I don't go over it very much, because most of y'all had Math 120 your senior year to keep you from taking pre-calculus. All right, anyway.
That class was terrible.
What?
Pre-cal.
No, it's not terrible. It gives you a good indication of what calculus is in college. Now, did you might have a terrible teacher? Yeah, you might have a terrible teacher. Okay, but the class, it prepares you for a good college calculus class. You got algebra, and if you suck at algebra, you're gonna suck at calculus. It's got a little bit of trig in it, and then it's got the calculus. Do you realize that calculus is only 10% calculus? It's 90% algebra. So, unless you got a terrible teacher, and that terrible teacher kind of throws gas on the fire. Like I said, you can live beside a TV station, and if you don't have an antenna, you can't get a single channel. You could have a teacher that has 15 degrees, and if that teacher can't tell you how to get out of a wet paper sack, it's going to be a hard semester. Next. Thank God for Rate My Professor, right? I hope some of y'all used it. All right, now here, see, this is the kind of stuff I'm gonna tell you. See that mean, standard deviation, minimum, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, the max. That's the kind of stuff I'm going to ask you at the end when we get to standard deviation. We're going to do all of that. Then I'm going to show you how to do it on the Excel spreadsheet. Then I'm going to show you how to do it on StatCrunch. And then I'm going to show you how to do it on the calculator. Okay? That way you don't have any what? Excuse. Bastard. I know, I'm a bastard. I don't care about that. Make sure you write this down. This is a test question, and oh, they love to put these on standardized test questions. Anything having to do with the curve, make sure you write it down, because they love to put the curve on standardized tests. If the mean is less than the median, then you have a skewed left. If the mean is equal to the median, or somewhat, right around the median, then you have a normal curve. And if the mean is greater than the median, you have skewed right, meaning the data is on the left. Now that's a test question also. I'll put 3 of those on the test, and you will get one of them. And it'll say, like, what is the curve below? And then your choice is skewed left, symmetric, skewed right. So there's 3 test questions Well, you'd only get one, because I pool questions. So you could have, like, question 1 could have 10 questions behind it. And on your first attempt, you may get question 2. On your second attempt, you may get question 10. On your third attempt, you may get question 5. So I know those 3 are in there because I've seen that before in the test. Okay, we'll get to this later when we get to standard deviation because I'm going to do everything together. Right now, when you do 3.1 homework this weekend, and yes, you should be working on 3.1 this weekend because I'm going to finish it here in just a minute. All I want you to be able to do is find the mean, median, and mode. But we're going to go over it 10, 15 times. When I get to standard deviation, that's when we're really going to do it over and over and over. And there's the mode. Now again, I'm not going to insult your intelligence by going over it, but I'm just going to refresh you. Mode equals most. The one that shows up the most. Can you have more than one mode? Yes. Now that doesn't mean if 5 shows up 10 times and 4 shows up 9 times, that 4 and 5 is the mode. No, 5 is the mode. Because the one that shows up the most. Now, if 5 shows up 10 times and 4 shows up 10 times, then 4 and 5 are the mode. You have a bimodal system. And they're going to show you a graph here of a bimodal system, and you might want to write it down. There's a bimode right there. A trimode would be 3 humps. And then after that, it's called polymodal. Polymodal means more than 3. Do I care about the mode? No, I do not. But it gives you some extra points on a test, and you will be asked on a standardized test about the mode. So for some of you, anybody nursing in here? Okay, when you take the TEAS test, you're going to be asked about this stuff that I'm telling you. Okay? Anybody nursing in the team world? Raise your hand if you are. Anybody in nursing? Just hit the hand button if you're in nursing. Okay, you'll see it. This type of question right here will be on there. What does the bottom chart represent? And you'll see 2 humps, and they might put mode right here. They might, and they'll say a normal curve, skewed right, skewed left, or bimodal, and you hit bimodal. And there's a little summary on page 118 right there. That's a nice little summary of what we went over in 3.1. Now again, I'm not gonna worry about this. The reason I'm not doing any problems yet is because when we get to standard deviation, that's when we're going to start doing problems, and we're going to do them over and over and over and over. So next week, Monday and Wednesday, we are going to Monday. Okay, not this Monday, but next Monday, we don't have class, right? Okay, next Monday, not this Monday coming up. This Monday and Wednesday, we will be going over standard deviation, mean, median, mode, do it in the Excel spreadsheet. We'll do 2 or 3 problems each class. Wednesday, we'll do 2 or 3 problems. Friday, we are all going to meet in teams, and I'll still do. I'm going to spend probably the next week on 3.1, 3.2, and probably 3.3. And that's all on the Excel spreadsheet. Okay? Now, let me check the roll to make sure everybody has an attendance this week. Okay, let me shut down the recording and